Hello and welcome once again to Houston City Beat on HCB-TV. I'm Lisbet Marquez. We're so glad you can join us. Today we're coming to you from the sky lobby of Wells Fargo Plaza in downtown Houston. This building is the second tallest in Houston, standing at 992 feet with 71 stories. This tower is skinned in a distinctive blue-green reflective glass that can be seen from any angle of downtown. It's a wonderful place to come and visit and see our city from a very unique perspective. I'm happy for you to join us as we once again bring you another fun episode showcasing our neighbors and stories throughout the greater Houston area. We have 3 guests on today's episode. We visit with Nelson Delgado, a local Houston artist who has an upcoming show specially designed for blind, deaf, and multi-handicapped children and adults. Also, I visit with Chris Mullen, an award-winning local author who has published several books in a young adult Western series called Rowdy. And I visit with Raquel Cepeda, a magnificent Houston-based jazz singer and songwriter. But first, let's take a look at my conversation with Nelson Delgado. We're here today with Nelson Delgado. Nelson, thank you for taking your time here today with us. Tell us about what we're doing back here, what you've got going on here in the Houston art community.
Well, this is a model of the Alta Arts. This is the space where we are going to be doing our exhibition. And right now, as you can see, there's a design exactly for the walls that we will be building for the 30 participating artists. 15 of these artists are from Houston, Texas, and the rest are from all over the world. We have artists from China, Australia, New York, California, and Dallas as well. And one of them is from Cuba. She just arrived, so it's amazing. All the amazing artists that we do have.
So you've got these really cool pieces here.
Yes,
can you
definitely.
tell us about these?
Well, the exhibition that we are putting together it's a multi-sensory exhibition, and it's for blind, deaf, and multi-handicapped individuals, but it's open to everyone, so anyone can come. It's a free exhibition to the public. Everything that you see here, this is a multi-sensory table, and it's of course a miniature version of what we will be building. This is the art wall, so the artists could create whatever they like, and then they have to mimic whatever piece from the piece that they create. They have to mimic it onto the actual table. And so as you can see, the people can come and play with it, touch it. So all these tables have all their different sensory speciality that the artist will be creating for each individual.
And then if someone falls in love with one of these pieces and would like maybe to purchase one or to get one as a replica, would you be able to? Are artists open to doing that?
All the artists are. If anybody likes these headphones, which each piece is going to have 2 headphones that they'll be able to listen to the music that inspired the artist to create their pieces. If they like to purchase any of the headphones, they just have to make an order, and they will receive it within 1 or 2 weeks from the time of the order. But yes, even the multi-sensory tables after the exhibition, they will be on sale. But also they will be displayed hopefully in different hospitals and different locations around Houston, so that individuals can actually interact with it and have fun. It will be from July 22nd until August 5th. And if anyone right now signs up to the website, the first 25 individuals that sign up will get free VIP entrance on the 21st, which is Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much,
Thank you
Nelson.
for inviting me.
And we look forward to coming out and checking out the exhibition.
Yes, thank you so much.
This segment of Houston City Beat on HCB-TV is brought to you by Capismo Communications. Stay right here. There's more of Houston City Beat on HCB-TV in a moment.
Take your business to higher ground with Capismo Communications. Capismo provides phone systems, IT management, cloud services, cabling infrastructure, internet connectivity, and podcast studio services. All the communications your business needs to be successful. Get unprecedented knowledge and impeccable reliability with Capismo Communications.
Make sure to visit the Houston City Beat store today on HoustonCityBeat.com. Find exclusive products that'll kick your Houston pride into gear. Check out the latest releases and come back often to see the latest editions. Just go to HoustonCityBeat.com and click on HCB store on the menu. Shop the Houston City Beat store today because only Hugh can wear it so well.
Welcome back to Houston City Beat on HCB-TV. I recently sat down with Chris Mullen, a local author who has produced several young adult Western stories in a series called Rowdy. He has an amazing story, and let's take a look. I'm here today with Chris Mullen, author of the Rowdy series. Chris is a Houston-based author, and I reached out to him about 3 weeks ago, and he invited us to come out here to Red's Grill on Grand Parkway.
Staple of Pecan Grove.
And from what Chris tells me, there is a hamburger named after Rowdy.
Well, it's not just a hamburger; it's called the Rowdy Burger, and it is fantastic.
Rowdy Burger. Okay.
Absolutely.
So tell us about this hamburger before we dive into the book.
Oh man, it is got the best portion of meat that you could ask for: cheese, lettuce, tomato, all the fixings on top of it. It has a special sauce on it called Whiskey Bomb sauce, and it's tangy and spicy, and it's actually a sauce made by some of the guys that used to be in ZZ Top, which also live kind of locally as well. So it's a pretty tasty sauce, and it kind of makes the Rowdy Burger give that extra zing.
So let's talk about your Rowdy series.
Yeah, for sure.
When did, from what you were telling me earlier, so this was your very first self-published book.
That
right?
is correct, yes.
And I love the story behind this. How long did it take you to write this book?
It goes back all the way to 2001, to be honest with you. I was a kindergarten teacher at a school in Houston, and we were celebrating Go Texan Day. And it was towards the end of the day, and we'd all been dressed up in cowboy gear, and the girls and cowboys running around the classroom waiting for carpool. About 15 to 20 minutes to kill, and I'm like, what do we do? Story time. Like, all right, kids, come on over to the carpet. I've got a story to tell you about this cowboy that lives way out west past the Triple Cactus on the ranch called the Circle R. The what? The where? Come on, kids, let's go have a story time. So we went over, and I just started telling them about this kid's adventures and named him Rowdy. It just kind of came out of the blue. I don't know,
That's so cool.
But anyway, so the next day came around, and it's back to regular routine, and they're like, we want to hear more Rowdy. I'm like, okay, let's talk some more Rowdy. At the end of the day, if we have a good day, we'll have story time. We told the story for a number of years, all sorts of adventures, all sorts of opportunities for Rowdy to be this role model that I really wanted my kids to have. And I wanted somebody that my kids could see make a mistake, learn from the mistake, have an adventure, try to make decisions that would be the most beneficial for him, but also for others. I mean, it's about doing right by others as well. There's a lot of opportunity for Rowdy to learn from mentors. He was orphaned at a very early age in the story. His family was killed by bandits.
Bandidos.
And so the stories take place in the late 1800s, 1878 to 1882-ish time period. It becomes one of his rules actually as he goes through the series that you don't ever kill, period, unless protecting yourself or others, or you're needed to do it for survival. He meets good characters along the way that he sees what they've gone to, and he realizes that I'm not the only one having a hardship here. Matter of fact, one of his next mentors was the sheriff in Lincoln. He tells Rowdy, he says, choices a man makes define who he is. And so it's that bit of advice that he carries along with him. And he's got advice from his father too that he carries along with it from book one, and it's important advice for him now, or then, and it's important now as well. And it goes, a man acts like one because he has to. A boy acts like one when he wants to. What are you? And so whenever a younger reader is buying book one, I'll always put that quote in there, and it's a reminder to them to be responsible, stand up for yourself. If you're gonna do something, own the action, and either celebrate the outcome or stand up for the consequences, whatever it may be.
So one of the things that I wanted to share with
people that are watching is, so it took you 18 months to write the first book?
Oh, right. Yeah, no. So I thought, I owe it to Rowdy to write this down. And so starting in 2011, I started writing the book. It wasn't until 2019 that I actually finished book one. That's 8 years.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to let this sit. Let's see if we can get it published. So I contacted agents and I contacted publishers and got the same, pretty much the same reply. Thank you, but no thank you. Ended up saying, you know what, I'm not waiting around another 6 months or a year or 2 years to see if possibly I get a bite. I'm going to do it myself. And so I designed the first cover. I learned how to do the layout. I went on the Amazon and Kindle Direct Publishing and step by step learned the process and published the book on my own to start. Put it into a couple different contests and was notified about 4 months after publishing that Rowdy, Wild and Mean, Sharp and Keen had won the American Fiction Awards for Western. That's a nationwide contest that authors can submit their books to. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, this is pretty cool, So later that year, we found out that it was a finalist in the Best Book Awards. So I reached out to some best-selling authors. I reached out to some more publishing companies and asked to speak to their editors. When all was said and done and the contract was on the table, I finished book 2 in 45 days and then wrote book 3, which is Dead or Alive, in the next 45 days.
So it took you 45 days to write this book.
Yes, it did.
And I want to say how amazing the capability of us humans, of people,
sure,
to take something that we once thought was the biggest mountain we've ever climbed.
Yeah.
And it took you 8 years to do this.
Correct.
And it took you 3 months?
Roughly.
3 months to do this?
Yeah.
That's incredible. And these books they're a testament to the good of people.
But when you have a character like Rowdy, who you basically lived with for, by 2019, we're talking 18 years, mm-hmm. You know him inside and out. And my goal is to write with words and descriptions that allow the readers to place themselves in the scene, to smell the smells, to feel the heat, to experience everything I experienced, but more so what Rowdy's experienced in the moment.
So that leads me to my next question.
Sure.
Are you planning a TV series, a movie series?
Oh, man.
Are you looking at that as an option?
I would love it. So at this conference, Western Writers of America, the following year, I had an opportunity to speak on the phone with a Hollywood producer. Like I said, you've seen Empire Strikes Back, seen Indiana Jones, Howard Kazanjian, this pillar of directing and producing in Hollywood, spoke with me on the phone for about 30 minutes on how to take a novel to screenplay. And what he was telling me was there's lots of different there's lots of different things you have to have in order to make something like that work. I've been blessed with opportunity, but I've also worked very hard and tried to make a very daily effort to do positive things towards Rowdy. Even if it's one thing, if you did one thing a day, think about how many things you've done at the end of the year for your passion.
Absolutely, and that is a great advice for any entrepreneur or solopreneur out there. So thank you for that. And my last question is, where can people find you?
So you will find me out and around. One of my favorite places to write is the local grocery store at Randall's. I sit in their food section. I put on the headphones and I'm writing. You know what? If you see me out and about, please come up and say hello. There's nothing more important than talking to other people for me.
Excellent. And what is your website?
Okay, so you can find me at chrismullenwrites.com. And oddly enough, everything is Chris Mullen Writes. Look for me on Instagram. You can look for me on Facebook. I found out that my publisher submitted me for the Independent Press Awards back earlier this year. And Rowdy, Book 1, Wild and Mean, Sharp and Keen, is a 2023 Independent Press Distinguished Favorite.
Nice.
Then, within the last week, I found out Dead or Alive is a finalist for a Will Rogers medallion.
Great, that's great. Well, thank you so much for meeting with us here, and cheers
to you.
Continued success.
Absolutely.
This segment of Houston City Beat is brought to you by Vito's Chill and Grill. When you need catering for your next event, go to vitoschillandgrill.com. Stay right here. There's more of Houston City Beat on HCB-TV in a moment.
Advertise your business on Houston City Beat. Houston City Beat episodes are the flagship of HCB-TV and showcase the people, sights, and stories from America's fourth largest city. Your brand is promoted with 30 and 60-second video commercials and title sponsorships. With HCB Podcasts, spotlight your business with live drop-ins, more title sponsors, and commercials that are programmed into Houston City Beat promoted podcasts. Or place your ad on any one of our various HCB press sections of HoustonCityBeat.com. And our entry-level partnerships place your business logo on Houston City Beat's social media posts. We collaborate to be Houston strong. Together, we have the pulse of one. And there's just something about that beat. Houston City Beat.
Welcome back to Houston City Beat on HCB-TV. Raquel Cepeda has been entertaining audiences for more than a decade. She is a singer and songwriter with an amazing voice and a heart of gold. I sat down with her at Capismo Communications. Let's take a look at my conversation with Raquel Cepeda. Hello, Raquel Cepeda. How are you today?
Hello, Liz. Glad to be here.
Yeah.
Hello, Mike.
Thank you so much for coming out here and doing this interview with us. I have so many questions to ask you. I don't know if I'm your biggest fan, but I'm one of your biggest fans here in Houston. And
Thank you.
I had a great opportunity to go out and see your Valentine's concert. Mike and I went and attended this last year. And it was absolutely magical, and I have some questions to ask you about that.
Thank you. So happy to be here and
Yeah.
to share with all the members of Houston City Beat.
Perfect. So my first question is, I know your music is all about jazz, right? How did you fall in love with jazz? What was it about jazz that just turned you on, lit your fire, and how'd you go down this music career?
Well, I started listening to jazz when I was little, and several influences came out to bring me to this place. First, I had a cousin that was a jazz pianist, and but also I was exposed to this music early on through the radio in Venezuela, believe it or not. And the first person that actually caught my attention was Ella Fitzgerald. And of course, her voice is magical, is beautiful. Something about the rhythm was just magnetic to me. And later on, one of my brothers gave me music by other jazz artists that really sparkled my love and my desire to continue listening to that music.
And I think you were born for this. What you do, you were born for it. And to see Raquel on stage, you'll definitely understand what I'm talking about when I say she was born to sing and share jazz, because you're absolutely natural at it.
Thank you.
And it's beautiful to see you out there on stage.
Your future with me, 'cause you're free. Oh, so easy to know.
So walk us through a day. I know that you do write your own music, correct?
Yeah.
Walk us through a day of when you sit down and you say, today is the day I'm going to compose something new. I'm going to write new music, new lyrics. Walk us through a day of that.
Well, most of the time, writing a song doesn't happen as, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write a song. It has happened before. Like some people have told me, well, we have this event, it's very special, and we need nice music for this. And I'm looking through music all around, the internet that could support what they want, and I'm not finding anything else. And I'm like, okay, I need to write something myself for that. Okay, fine. That has happened, a few times, but most of the times is it comes as an inspiration. It comes as, I may be washing dishes or walking or driving. It has happened while I'm driving too. Yeah. And all of a sudden I just get this music in my head or these lyrics in my head, and I just have to document it immediately. So what I do is that I grab my phone, I record that melody, and or I write it down as a note, and then I have like a library of material collected that when I am sitting in front of the computer and I don't have anything crazy to catch up with, and I'm in the right set of mind, I'm like, okay, let me just review those ideas and see how can I develop them. And that's how I end up then bringing them to the next stage, which is kind of like putting both music and lyrics in paper, and then rehearsing them and then bringing them to a show.
We sing and chanting songs with the moonlight.
So tell us about your band. I know you mentioned that it took you a while to bring the band together. Y'all have been together since 2017, your current band?
Yes. And I am so blessed and so happy to have been working with them for this time. It came as as the need to conform a group that could really bring about the Latin rhythms, the Latin flavors, with the root of jazz, which was the most important thing. Now, you have to understand Houston has a lot of fantastic talent and musicians from all over the world, and especially from South America. Now, it's difficult sometimes to find the right grounding of, having all that experience in Latin music versus having all that experience in jazz. And it took me a while. I went to see different concerts, different musicians, until I found the right people. And also through working, I was doing a jazz series at the time, and I was bringing different musicians to play with me. And I could really kind of feel where they were in terms of those aspects that I was looking for.
So your Jazz on Valentine's is described as a musical aphrodisiac for mind, body, and soul. Okay. And I really do believe this. Being there, witnessing it, Mike and I went to your concert, and I really felt all of that. How do you prepare for this concert? Because you have to be in a certain mood as you get on stage to be able to provide that energy to your audience. How do you prepare for a concert like that?
Because Valentine's Day is a very important day. Is a day where you want to celebrate love with your couple. You want to make them feel special. You want to celebrate their existence. But love, how do you put love into a package? Love is something really transcendental. It's not just a can of chocolates. It's not just, is something so transcendental and so meaningful. And I have to be very careful that I really treat it and approach it that way. Otherwise, it becomes just another commercial thing, Mm-hmm. And when I'm preparing for Valentine's, I really, really, really have to dig deep into what the meaning of love is. And that brings me into my own spiritual depths of how do I transmit this to the others? What it is love, and how do I transmit it to other people? So that day is not just another concert. Mm-hmm. It's something that feeds the minds and the souls of the people that are attending.
You have your own personal love story. You're married. You look very happy. And I know y'all just went on a trip to Brazil.
Yeah.
I follow her on social media, so I know all about her. So tell us about your love story. How did you meet? How long were y'all dating? Where did you get married?
Well, it's part of being human, You sometimes go through life without really focusing on what's important, and you put your compass sometimes in directions that are not the right directions. You start looking for the wrong attributes in a person, in a person that you're gonna spend your life with. And at the same time, we're so immersed in this world where everything is just pointing to things that are not real, that are not essential, that are not meaningful. So before meeting Hilton, so that I can summarize all this. So before I met Hilton, I was married, and then I got divorced in 2009, and then I dated for 7 years, with different people. But it was a disaster, really. It was a disaster. And it came a point where I had to say, you know what? Something's wrong here. And it's not the rest of the world. It's me. Mm-hmm. I have to figure out what's wrong with me.
Denominator.
It's a common denominator. And I had to, do a lot of writing, because something about writing really helps you put things in paper and really like see them from above, literally. 2 months later, I was singing, and Hilton was in the audience, and he came back the next time, the next performance by himself, with the intention of getting to know me, and at that point I was like, okay, let's see what happens. Of course, it was super cute and everything, and we started going out. But the difference this time is that I went with an idea of what is it that I was allowing in my life to be, who I was allowing in my life to be. So that process with him, it was very slow in terms of our physical involvement at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Of course, we were going out all the time and everything, but I allowed myself to give time to get to know him and what was he about before anything further happened. And it's interesting, but I start checking out all the boxes with him. I was like, oh, this is strange. And he even invited me to go to Brazil to meet his family, even, with a month and a half of having known each other. It was incredible. I mean, in 3 months, we knew that we wanted to be together, and we married right away.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
So that's my story with Hilton. And even though it was only 3 months, because I went with that, filtering criteria, it's not that I manifested anything or anything like that. Maybe I think it was just God that was behind all this. I think that I was able to see the right things in him and fall in love with the right things.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It sounds like your reticular activating system was turned on, and that's why you saw him, and that's how it happened so fast.
Yeah.
That's great. So I have a series of questions, like quick fire questions.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask them, and you answer them as fast as you can.
Okay.
So do you sing in the shower?
Yes.
Do you sing in the car?
Yes.
Do you sing your own music in the shower or in your car?
No.
You don't? Okay. Have you ever thought about singing your own music in your shower or in your car?
Only if I have to rehearse it for a show and it has a different arrangement.
Okay. So does Hilton sing in front of you?
No.
No?
Well, no, yes, sometimes.
Okay. I know you have an upcoming concert coming up in December of 2023.
Yes,
You wanna
December
tell us
10th.
about that?
Yes. So the Christmas concert now, it's becoming an annual must, and I would like to invite you all to get your calendars ready, put it down right now, save the date, December 10th at the Match Theater. It's going to be a Christmas concert.
Okay.
With a
Perfect.
septet.
And if I had to guess, I would say you're probably going to wear red.
Maybe. Maybe I'll surprise you.
Well, thank you so much, Raquel.
No,
it
thank
was
you, Liz.
amazing having you come here and answer all of my crazy questions. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, I was super candid with you all. These are the untold stories of my journey.
Yeah, well, thank you, and let's do this again sometime soon.
Of course. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Well, that wraps up this episode of Houston City Beat on HCB-TV. We hope you enjoyed it. Mike and I had a great time here at the Sky Lobby of the Wells Fargo building in downtown Houston. We want to thank our sponsors, Capismo Communications, Vito's Chill and Grill, Fat Boys Pizza, and Furniture Experience. Make sure you visit us at HoustonCityBeat.com. At Houston City Beat, we are proud of the city that we live in, where there's so many wonderful things happening in our communities. Together, we have the pulse of one, and there's just something about that beat. Houston City Beat. For Mike Acosta, I'm Lisbet Marquez. Thank you for joining us.